So do others want to write it down? No. Do you want to write it down actually how to find number of protons, neutrons and electrons? Okay. So this is how we do. So answer is 11, 12, 10. That's answer 3. Answer 3. Next one, next question is question number 24. Question number 24. Right? A child applies a force of 500 Newton to push a table kept on a uniform smooth surface as in the diagram. If the frictional force created by the table is 450 Newton. Okay. So what is the answer?
First one.
Table moves, yeah. Table doesn't move, table just begins to move, table moves short distance and come to rest. Yeah. So what is the answer? Answer is, do others have any answer?
Third one.
Third one, table just begins to move. Oh, now like this, no. Now he is applying a force of 500 Newton on the table. Okay. He's just applying a force of 500 Newton on the table. Okay. That is now 500. Okay. And there is a force opposing his motion. That is frictional force. The magnitude of frictional force is 450. He is applying a force of 500 Newton. You see now, the difference of the forces is somewhat high, 50. 50. If you just say now, if somebody says that table just begin to move, the difference has to be mostly a decimal number. Let's say now, if the force applied by the bow is 450.5, 450.1, 2, 3, 4, like at least 451, at least 451. So it can be accepted. But he is applying 500 Newton force, a force of 500 Newtons. Difference is 50 Newton. So it cannot be just begin to move. It is moving, however. It is moving. Just begin to move is when the force applied by the bow is little bit more than the frictional force. The frictional force, magnitude of the frictional force is 450. Let's say now bow is applying a force of 450.1234, like that time you can say that. Therefore, answer should be first one. Table moves. Table moves first one. Got it? Table moves is the answer. Okay. Question number 25. Ideas mentioned below were presented by 4 students regarding the significance of nucleic acid. So correct statement among them. Any answer?
Third one.
Third one.
Third one.
Huh? Which one?
Third one.
Third one. Any opposite answers? Different answers? No, no. All of you agree, no? There are 4 statements important in controlling nucleic acid. Important in controlling all cellular activities, because nucleic acids make the genes, you know. Nucleic acids make genes. So genes control all the activities. The first one is correct. B, transferring genetic information from generation of generation. From generation to generation. That is also correct. DNA and RNA are 2 types of nucleic acid. That is also correct. Fatty acids and amino acids are building units. Fatty acids and amino acids are building units. Fatty acid is not there. No? Therefore, A, B, C are correct. Answer 3. D statement is wrong. Huh? Answer 3. Third one correct. In question number 26. Typical cell is a
Fourth
cell,
one.
yeah, cell prepared by including all the organelles. First one, let's take first one now. A cell belongs to body of unicellular organisms. Second one, cell belongs to body of multicellular. A cell that can be absorbed by micro. Yeah, fourth one is the answer. Cell prepared by including all the organelles. That means all the cells do not have all the organelles. They have drawn a diagram of a cell that include all the organelles of other cells. So that is called as typical cell. Fourth is the answer. Question number 27. Right? Now, right? Okay, question number 27 now. The standard units of measuring velocity and acceleration are given respectively by, what is the answer?
First one.
First one.
First one correct, okay? It's a simple question. Yeah, velocity is meters per second. Acceleration is meters per square second. Meters per square second. Question number 28. Question number 28. Following graphical representation shows the variation of first ionization energy of first 18 elements in periodic table. Use the graph to answer the questions 28, 29, 30. There are 3 questions. Okay, I think you can remember when we consider first ionization energy values, right? Normally, first ionization energy is highest in what,
Noble gas.
noble gases, and they are lowest in what, lowest in what groups, group number 1. Okay, right? They are lowest in group number 1. Okay, group number 1. Then element that has highest first ionization energy is what is the answer?
First one.
Q.
First one.
First one.
First one, yeah, correct. Answer Q. Because out of all the elements, this is hydrogen. Helium is having the highest first ionization energy. Helium is having the highest ionization energy. And after helium, second one, what should be second one, Neon. It should be neon, right? So neon's first ionization energy is little bit lower than helium. It is little bit lower than helium. So helium has the highest first ionization energy. So Q is the answer. Three elements which are arranged in ascending order of the first ionization energy are 3 elements which are arranged in ascending order of the first ionization energy are So what are
Second one.
Huh? Any other answer? Second one. Any other answer? Different answer? Second one you see. Q greater than T. Then, no, Q is greater than T. R is Q is the greatest, highest one. Right, this one. According to second answer, Q is the highest, then T, that is okay, then R. Okay, second one is true. Let's say first one, Q is greater than T. Greater than T, that is correct. Q's ionization energy is greater than T, that is true. Then R is greater than Q, that is wrong. No, this is wrong. Let's consider now third one. T is greater than R. T is greater than R. That is true. R is greater than Q. That is wrong. Here, this is wrong. Fourth one, U is greater than T. U is greater than T here. This one wrong here. Therefore, answer is second one. Second is the answer. Okay. Question number 30 now, right? True elements represented by R and T. R and T. What are two elements now? You have to say in order. Lithium and neon. Answer.
Neon.
Answer.
3. Third one.
Third one. Third one correct. Good. Third one is correct. Okay. So you are given such questions also, right? Now question 31 now, right? Question number 31, right? Few ideas about sodium metal are given below. The metal can easily be cut with a knife. Sodium, no? Yeah. I did this practical in the school for grade 10 students last month. So I also cut piece of sodium metal with the help of a knife, This statement is true. Vigorously react with normal water forming oxygen. Vigorously react correct. Forming oxygen wrong. It generates hydrogen. When I added piece of sodium into water, it started burning like a burning ball floating on water, firing with a blue colored flame. When piece of sodium goes to a corner of the container, actually we added it into a water trough. The trough is made up of glass. So when it went to the corner of the trough, hydrogen releases collect there. As the piece of sodium is burning, hydrogen is coming. Hydrogen once again start reacting with oxygen to form water. That time it blasted in the water trough. After blasting, everything finished. Then students told me to add more and more sodium. I didn't do that because sodium is expensive metal. No, therefore I didn't add actually. But students wanted to do it once again because it gave a nice look, like a small firework. So that's what happened there. Forming oxygen is wrong here. It forms hydrogen. Floats on water because its density is less than water. That is also okay, correct. It floats on water. Density is less than water. So what are the correct statements? Correct statements are A and
Third one.
third one. Okay. A and C only. A and C are correct. A and C, okay. Question number 32. Which of the displacement time graph represent the motion of a fruit falling from a tree? What is the answer?
First one.
First one.
Wow, displacement time graph. I think Krishanthani, when I told you, I can remember the day and the class. You asked me about this question also. I also told you. I think you asked me one day same question and I explained and drew up the graph. I can remember. When I taught you this one, I told you it will be given mostly in paper 1. You are not given a question like this to draw a graph. Okay. You are not given a question like this to draw a graph. I can remember Krishanthini asked me question like this. Can you remember Krishanthini? I think I told it to you that day. You are not given a graph. We were in that class, in the classroom that is next to H classroom. I mean that small classroom that has a mango tree before it. When you were in that classroom, you asked me question when I was teaching you, right? So
Yes, sir.
yeah, I can remember, you asked me a question also that day. Then you are not given this type of graph to draw. You are given this type of question only in paper 1 to answer. Displacement time graph. Displacement time graph, right? Displacement time graph comes like this. Displacement time graph comes like this only when the velocity is uniform, when there is a uniform velocity. When there is a uniform velocity. Okay. When a fruit is falling, down, what happens to the velocity? Velocity is increasing. Okay. Velocity is increasing. Now you must know this one. I want to explain a little bit. Okay. Is there anyone who is sure of the answer? Please tell me if you are sure of the answer. If you are sure of the answer, please tell me. I think some students were not there when I taught you. ඔයගොල්ලෝ අද ක්ලාස් එකේ ඉන්න ඔක්කොමලා හිටියේ නෑ. ඒක මම මේ ලෙසන් එක කරනකොට මේ ලෙසන් එකේ මම හොයාගන්න ක්‍රමයක් දුන්නා, ට්‍රික් එකක් දුන්නා. I gave a trick how to find. Mostly questions like these are difficult for many of the students in the whole country, Sri Lanka. This is a physics question, Normally physics questions are difficult for many of the students in Sri Lanka. That is the fact, found in our country. Mathematical things and some physical things, mostly physics things are not mathematical things, physics things are difficult, So, okay, you see now it's like this, right? Right? If there is a graph, if I'm drawing a graph, if I'm drawing a displacement time graph like this, in a displacement time graph, if there is an acceleration, if an acceleration occurs, what happens to the graph? Normally, in a displacement time graph, gradient gives the velocity. In the displacement time graph, gradient gives the velocity. Gradient means the angle. In the displacement time graph, gradient gives the velocity. This is the gradient at this point. අලුතින් එන කට්ටියට පොඩ්ඩක් මේක පොඩ්ඩක් මම ඔක්කොම එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න බෑ. සෙකන්ඩ් ලෙසන් එක කරද්දී හිටපු නැති කට්ටියට පොඩ්ඩක් තේරෙන්නේ නැතුව වගේ ඇති. වෙලාවක මම කියලා දෙන්නම්. gradient කියන්නේ දැන් මේ curve එකක් තියෙනකොට point එකට අපි mathematics වල තියෙනවා මේ tangent කියලා එකක්. We draw up a tangent to this point. So this point, this angle gives the velocity. Angle gives the velocity. If you want to find the velocity at this point, we have to draw up a tangent. Tangent is taught in mathematics in grade 11 class. So here there is the, at this point, if you want to find the velocity, we have to draw a tangent. Tangent means that line that goes touching it, you know. What happened to this angle? What happens to this angle actually? What happens to the angle, you know? This angle is called gradient. What happened to the angle? You can see this angle is bigger than this angle. Angle at this point is bigger than angle at this point. මේ point එකේ angle එක ලොකුයි මේකට වඩා. එහෙනම් angle එක පොඩි වෙනවා. Angle කියන්නේ gradient එක. Gradient is decreasing. Gradient of a displacement time graph gives what? Velocity. Gradient of a displacement time graph gives velocity. So if the gradient is like this, velocity is decreasing. Velocity is decreasing. Velocity decrease. Now make it here now. We draw a line here. We measure the angle. We draw another line here. We measure the angle. Angle is increasing, no? Angle is increasing. Angle means gradient. If the gradient is increasing, velocity is increasing. When a fruit is falling down, velocity is increasing. Velocity increasing means accelerating. Gradient is increasing. So in the displacement time graph, gradient gives the velocity. Gradient is increasing here. Gradient is increasing mean accelerating. Answer 4. Answer 4. Those who didn't come for that lesson, when you come to the physical class, you ask me, I will explain. I will explain very well. So answer should be 4th one. Displacement time graph for accelerating objects. If you want to write down this one, okay? Okay? This is for your knowledge, okay? Like this now, okay? No? I will give you sentence, you write down somewhere because, you know, I think it looks to be somewhat difficult for many of you. I can understand, okay? Therefore, you write down now, right? The displacement time graph the displacement time graph for accelerating. The displacement time graph for accelerating objects. For accelerating objects. Should be like this, you know. You draw up now. Okay. The displacement time graph for accelerating objects, you know. For an accelerating object, it should be like this, you know. I think you must know that, you must remember only the shape, okay? The displacement time graph for accelerating object. And after that, the displacement time graph, right?